Hi, welcome to the Young and Bold segment with Maintain Monday. I'm your host, Crystal.
And I'm your host, Destiny Bell.
Today, we are going to have a great conversation. And the conversation is going to be based around cancel culture. Some of you may be wondering, what the heck is cancel culture? When I first heard it, I said the same thing. But as I was looking into it, I realized this would be a great conversation, especially for Gen Z. Gen Zer. So, and a millennial myself, but I feel like this will be a great conversation to dig into, and you'll be able to get our opinion and our aspect of how we feel or what we think of the topic cancel culture. So we'll get more into the topic right after this video, and once you watch the video, you'll get a better understanding of what cancel culture is.
It seems innocent at the time, a simple comment or post on social media or a picture you post.
But in today's culture, just a simple social media post from years ago can prevent you from getting a job. Is that fair?
Tonight, Denver 7's Russell Haythorne goes 360 on the rise of what's being referred to as cancel culture.
You may have never heard the term cancel culture.
It's somewhat of a boycott of a person.
But you certainly know some of the faces who have been canceled.
I think social media does play a big part in it.
Let's start with some context.
Usually it's a public figure or a celebrity who has done something that other people find objectionable.
It can also be someone just like you and me.
Putting something out there that can probably offend somebody.
So I often caution people, especially young people, students, about what they place on social media because that is their professional image and picture forever.
Cancel culture is a form of boycott or public shaming of a person who has shared a questionable or unpopular opinion, or in more serious cases, someone whose behavior in their past is not only offensive, but unethical, illegal, and wrong, like R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, who's currently on trial, and Bill Cosby.
And he's in prison and appropriately has been held accountable. We absolutely should hold people accountable for bad behavior.
That really ruined their image for me.
I have canceled on people. I've spoken out a lot about R. Kelly.
Those cases, and others like them, even gave rise to the Me Too movement.
Women who are not listened to, who were not validated in their concerns, getting together and finding a way to hold their abusers accountable.
Truth be told, it's deeply connected to social justice. Powerless people finally being heard and taking that power back.
Cancel culture can also be found closer to home.
People, including our employers, including our friends and family, are going to hold us accountable for what we post on social media.
Amari Dantzler has canceled people.
Friends, yes.
So has Jazz Moore.
Some of my friends or I don't hang out with as much.
Rude to be to post ignorant things about other people.
I try to talk to them and explain why their behavior isn't cool before I just cancel them.
After a while, when it kicks in, they get all huggy-buggy.
And while that may be justified, there's also a cautionary tale there. While cancel culture started out as justice, it can involve people being too quick to judge, even considered bullying, extreme mobs with vicious online attacks without context or the full story. Even former President Barack Obama has warned of this.
That's not activism. That's not bringing about change. You know, if all you're doing is casting stones, you're probably not going to get that far.
There are more benign cases of cancel culture as well.
So he was stretching the truth a little bit.
Like Brian Williams at NBC, demoted for embellishing on past experiences in wartime reporting and elsewhere.
It came to the point where he was considered damaged goods.
Stripped of his main anchor role at NBC and demoted to MSNBC. Not canceled entirely, but muted significantly.
It can make or break careers.
Like what happened to NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who refused to stand for the national anthem.
He was protesting something in a way that he understood to be respectful. The fact that he's one of the top players today in football and cannot have work, I mean, that is cancellation.
And that's where experts say, be careful.
If you post anything, it's a record, right? It's a public record.
It's really hard to forgive and forget.
Because even though America loves a comeback, in this digital age, your past can come back to haunt you.
Sometimes partying and everything, all like that, it doesn't need to be online.
Anybody can look up your name, and people do. Employers do that.
Do we even have private lives anymore? Increasingly, the answer to that is no.
Russell Haythorne, Denver 7.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. So I just want to give you a quick definition of what cancel culture is. It is the phenomenon of promoting the canceling of people, brands, and even shows and movies due to what some consider to be offensive or problematic remarks or ideologies. Isn't that kind of new for you, or no?
Well, it is, because I wouldn't even say like canceling somebody because of what they did. In my opinion, I just was like, oh, I just either won't listen to them anymore, or or like if it's an artist or music or whatever, I just won't listen to it anymore. Especially if I'm like, yeah, I ain't rocking with that person. But it's just like, why make it such a big deal? That's what I don't understand. But let's get into some examples. Like, let's say on a video, they mentioned Bill Cosby was canceled. R. Kelly, of course, R. Kelly. Everybody canceled R. Kelly because of that whole incident. Was just really just crazy. Like some people canceled him. Some people was like, oh, I don't rock with him like that. I don't condone what he did or what he was doing. But I'm still going to listen to his music. Right. So is that a contradiction? Like, I'm confused on that part, because you want to speak, because people were like, oh, he was the R&B king, he made this hit at the hit at the hit. So it was like, I still like his music, but I don't condone what he did. So how do you think that, well, is that considered canceled?
I don't know. I feel like it depends on the person, because where the culture aspect comes in my opinion, is how it's multiple people at once. Like, you know how we have black culture. It's not just one or two black people. It's billions of black people. So with the culture, it's like millions of people that could be on the same side as you, and then the opposing team as well. So when it comes to like R. Kelly and R&B music, you have people who won't listen to his music because they know what he did, and then they could kind of like personalize it. But then on the other side, you have people who say, oh, it didn't happen to me, and his music is good. And then it's like some people learn how to or prefer to separate an artist from their art.
True.
But then it's like, do you forget what type of person they are? Because at the end of the day, when you're streaming music, they still get that pay.
That is true. That is so true. So it's like, if you still listening to it, then that means you still contributing to him being who he is.
Yes.
I mean, I get it, but
I think it's easier said than done. Because as much as I don't want to listen to Chris Brown because of the more allegations he has, it's getting harder. But I'm working on it. It's all about personal preference at the end of the day. I'm not perfect.
And you're right. It is pretty much about personal preferences. At the end of the day, it is.
Now, as far as Bill Cosby, you know, his old what are they? Not co-hosts. What are they?
It is the co-host for the Cosby Show.
Co-host for the Cosby Show, Felicia Rashard, when she had defended him. When they free Bill instead of Britney, you know, social media was going on a frenzy, and everybody was upset about that because of the allegations he has had. Right. And I feel that, honestly, in my opinion, I understand maybe why she defended him in a public aspect, because of the relationship they had. But at the end of the day, sometimes you got to keep quiet, because you got to think about, how would you feel if you were the mother of those daughters that have those allegations and stuff. And social media isn't the outlet for everything, especially in today's society. Maybe if it was MySpace, I don't know.
and then you said something about like thinking about it on the side of the parent of the person that, you know, was in the victim in that situation.
Right.
And when you think about it, it's like I don't know. It's like when you defend somebody, you got to think about all aspects from
every
different angles. Yeah. Yes. So it's like you got to think about the person the person that's related to the victim, not even necessarily just their parents, but whatever the victim dealt with, their family has to hear the backlash or like, oh my goodness,
she doing it for money. Why she wait so long?
So it's like, I don't know. It's a whole, I guess, like you said in the beginning, it's personal preferences, and then it's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's your beliefs or your opinion, pretty much. So speaking about opinion, what's the difference between cancel culture and being entitled to your own opinion? Because, you know, people cancel people because of what we just said, for whatever reason, or because they say something that somebody didn't like, they offended somebody, or they just did something that people didn't like. But just because you didn't like what they did, somebody else might be okay with it. So is that like canceling? And so you're not letting people express their opinion, right?
See, me personally, it depends on the topic, because I always say ignorance isn't really as blissful as they try to make it seem. Because I always tell people, I'm very opinionated, but there's where you draw the line between an opinion and ignorance is where there's a problem, because I'm not going to speak out against any type of community with the intention of offending them. Now, but I will be willing to grow and learn that, oh, maybe I should not have said it that way, and maybe I can do better the next go around. So there's a difference between when you have the good intentions and expressing your opinions, but if they're deeply rooted in something that is pure ignorance, I can't get with that. I can't. There's no way.
That's true. So let's say
you want an example?
Yeah.
I think an example for me, because I am a Black woman, we are Black women, I cannot excuse anyone that makes racist remarks. I do believe that you can unlearn racism, but 9 times out of 10, how many people are willing to learn and unlearn different things when it's been rooted for how long? How many years ago did we get out of these shackles? And then when did they stop segregation, you know? So if it's genuine, true intentions, and you're willing to do this process to unlearn things, to stop offending people, okay. But that's rare to come by.
I think that's all a part of understanding different cultures and not judging them, because a lot of racist comments and stuff
can be opinions to some people, though.
Well, yeah, it can be an opinion, but I was gonna say it comes from being ignorant of their culture. So it's like a white person might say something to a Black person, but that Black person might be struggling with something that is deep rooted in their family or whatever the case may be, but that white person will not know what the Black person went through, because they don't understand the culture that African Americans live. Like, you know how everybody talk about white privilege this, white privilege that, but a white person, they don't see it as privilege. Like, because you got some white people that probably struggle just as much as a Black person, but go ahead.
Because I went to predominantly white schools since middle school, I have encountered some people who had their eyes have kept slowly open to white privilege, and they understand it, but it's like their family members, their grandparents, they might not, even their parents might not agree with it. So I know that it's possible to look through that lens. It's just the fact that just because you don't resonate does not mean that it does not exist.
Right, exactly.
Like women, all women have problems, because you know how they go, equal pay. But then we are a double minority with our skin color on top of that.
Exactly.
And just because you don't resonate with my pain doesn't mean it's not there. So if you were to try to discredit me on social media, I wouldn't go for that.
So let me ask you this. If you said you can't deal with someone making a racist comment.
Yeah.
So would you cancel someone because they made an ignorant comment, or would you be that person that tried to educate them on that comment rather than just strictly cancel, like, oh, I ain't dealing with you, don't talk to me no more. But you could be that person that could educate them. Exactly. You can educate them on the culture or whatever comment they made, because they, like you said, like we was just saying, they may not know. And you know, ignorance is, you know, doing something that you don't know. So it's like, would you be that person that automatically just cancels somebody, or would you be that person that will try to educate them and tell them like, oh, don't do that, that's wrong, or whatever the case may be?
I have always been the educator. It gets a little draining sometimes. Like, I've always been that person where they say, oh, she's not like them, she's the approachable black girl. So I've always had not necessarily the problem, but the opportunity to educate. But I feel like taking that step helps the world go round. Whether I realize it or not, at least I know I'm doing my portion and my part. Recently, I had to tell someone how I didn't believe that white people, like, I could be racist to a white person, because if you think about racism, who was it against? And, you know, segregation, the white people got to sit at the nice booths and we was eating outside. You know how to go? So I had to express to him, it was one of my managers, by the way, and he said he doesn't support Lauryn Hill because she's racist. I said, how? And Lauryn Hill has said that she didn't make music for other cultures. It's like a black woman's story, black love, you know. We have R&B, it's black love. But I had to educate him from my perspective at how I'm not the oppressor. I am oppressed. Now, if we were to have the same credentials and same experience, and we both walked into this job interview, 9 times out of 10, who is going to get this job? This white male, or is it going to be me, a black woman? Now, granted, we had that conversation going on for about 10 minutes, but he didn't understand where I was coming from. But at least I tried. Exactly. At least I tried. As long as you're trying to educate, that's all you can do at the end of the day.
Exactly. I mean, you can't make somebody believe or take on your opinion, because everybody is entitled to their own opinion and their own, you know, state of mind. So if that person wanted to be educated or fully understood, then maybe they'll look at it at in a different angle or a different perspective. So let me give another example for the cancel culture. The cancellation debate heated up last summer after Twitter users took to the digital platform to condemn Harry Potter author K.J. Rowling, because making anti-trans comments, along with denouncing singer/rapper Doja Cat, racist chat room posts, and former Glee star Lee Michaels' allegedly mistreatment of co-hosts. And then by July, the focus has lasered in on talk show host Ellen DeGeneres and Killing Eve star Jodie Comer's rumors consecutive boyfriend. So let's talk about
pick one. Who? I said pick one.
Harry Potter author K.J. Rowling. Now, people canceled the author because of anti-trans comments. What are your thoughts on that? Would you have canceled because she made anti-trans comments, or would you look at it as that's her opinion, that's how she feel, so it doesn't affect me, so I'm just gonna let it be?
I am a firm believer in you do what makes you happy, you spread love, and as long as it's not hurting anybody, I'm gonna mind my business and you're gonna mind your own business. So when you are going towards a community like LGBTQ, because I have friends a part of that community, I do not support when you are being bashful against them. I understand, yet again, I cannot resonate with someone who is trans because I don't live that lifestyle. Right. But I personally respect it, because at the end of the day, I don't want to live your life, and I don't want you to live your life depressed because you can't live your truth. So when someone is against someone else living their truth, which isn't harming anyone, I'm not talking about, these killers. Now, if you're killing people, I can't support that. Right. But you're not doing harm to anyone else. Yeah, I cancel people who do things like that. Anything against homophobic, transphobic, yeah, I cancel you.
True. Well, me personally, I am not a Harry Potter fan. I can't even tell you what none of the books are about because I haven't read them. But let's say if it was a different author or something like that, I would feel some type of way about the comments that was made, but I would just not buy the book. So would that be the same thing as canceling them?
You won't get funds from me. You're not supporting them. Somebody else paying your bills, not me.
So let's talk about Ellen DeGeneres being canceled. So a lot of people may know the story. Ellen DeGeneres, she was allegedly mean and very hostile to her employees behind the cameras of the Ellen DeGeneres show. And people cancel her because they like, oh, she mean and she said this, or she don't know how to treat people and so forth and so forth. What are your thoughts on that? Would you cancel somebody? Okay, well, before you talk, let me give my opinion. So with that's allegedly. So nobody knows exactly what happened off camera except those people that were there. So for me, not being there, not seeing it, how do I know that this is true? Because when she's on the camera, it's just like, hey, she's really generous. So it's like, I'm just saying I said that to say, like, I'm not saying, oh, I have to see it or I have to experience it myself for me to cancel it, because I'm not saying, oh, I don't believe these people. But at the same time, it's like, it's your word against everybody else's. Like, I wasn't there to see it. So, I don't know how to put that, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, a lot of time, girl bosses are about their craft, about their work, and they're serious about what goes on. She has to smile when it's lights, camera, action, because that's her persona. That's what she has to do for the camera. Exactly. Now behind the scenes, you don't know, she throw up the mint and then catch it before she go on the show. What if her mint's not there?
Right.
That's something that's supposed to be there. Like, she's gonna be irritated that it's not there. What if Wendy Williams don't have her tea when she's parched? Those are simple things that are necessities for their show. And if she's upset about it, I think girl bosses are always assertive. I don't necessarily think that they're mean or hostile, and I can't experience it for myself with Ellen DeGeneres or anyone of that nature. But a lot of time, women that are assertive, they have such a negative connotation towards them because they're serious about their business. Yeah. And I'm not going to cancel someone when I truly think that the possibility is that they don't play about their craft.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I like that. That's a good point. So now let's talk about
Doja Cat.
Go ahead.
I listen to Doja Cat. Doja Cat she gets a lot of number ones. People are still streaming her, buying her music. Cancel culture isn't always forever. That's something that I think people need to understand. Cancel culture, maybe in some cases it should be forever, but there's always going to be someone on the opposing side that will support them forever. So even if it's like a bad week for that celebrity, maybe even a bad year, people will have the tendency to make a comeback. That's one thing everyone should understand about cancel culture. It might only be temporary.
Right. So to speak on that part, let's say somebody did make a racial comment or a comment that offended somebody in the LGBT community or whatever the case may be, and they get canceled for a week, and then that person comes back and apologize. So is that their comeback, or is it like, all right, she apologized, so maybe I can, listen to it a little bit, but not like full-fledged? So would that be the comeback you're considering?
Yeah.
If they come out and apologize about it. And let me say this, with a sincere apology.
Yeah.
Because you got some people that did some crazy things and then came back like, oh, I ain't mean to do that. Sorry, y'all. But that didn't seem like genuine. So it's like, is that considered a comeback, like you would say?
If we talk about the music industry, people canceled Tory Lanez, but then they still supported him. When DaBaby brought him back on stage, people were excited. And then DaBaby himself, he had made some comments towards the LGBTQ community, and then, people canceled him. But then he was like, I don't care about what y'all think. I'm apologizing. He apologized to a different culture. And then he said, I'm not apologizing to LGBTQ because he meant that. But then he sent another apology and deleted it. So I was like, at this point, it's not genuine. When it's not genuine, there's still going to be people that stream your music. Because there's still going to be people that don't care and separate the artist from their work. And there's still going to be people that just, love you and forget anything about your personal experiences.
Yeah.
So it's for every situation.
Yeah, I guess it is different for every situation. But let's look into the canceling of Disney. Well, it's not necessarily canceling the Disney movies. Mm-hmm. Some people didn't necessarily cancel Disney, but Disney, they put a filter on classic movies such as Dumbo, the Aristocats, over racist imagery. So do you think people should cancel those Disney movies because they're not the original, because they had to put a filter on it? Because back in the day, let me say this, back in the day when I was growing up looking at Disney movies, I didn't see, I guess at that age, I'm oblivious to that. I don't know anything about racist imagery or anything like that nature. But now, living in today's time, these kids, they know everything because of the internet. But do you think that parents should not let their child see that movie at all because of the because of the filter that was put on there? Or would that parent be canceling Disney because it's not the original? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So what are your thoughts on that? Because I wouldn't say they necessarily canceled them completely. They just put a filter on it because of the racist imagery.
But is the filter like making it completely different? Because I don't even like sequels.
I haven't seen it to say like, oh, it's different, or oh, they shouldn't have did this, or they took this out and it shouldn't have, they took this out but should have took this out. So I didn't see it personally, like the new filtered old movie. So I can't say. So I don't know per se.
I think, especially because I haven't seen it, I'm not sure, but I don't think that canceling necessarily would be something that I would do as a parent, especially because I love classics. I'm not into, I don't even like remixes.
But if they changed it, then it wouldn't necessarily be considered a classic anymore because it's not the original.
But also, as most parents do, you could keep the classic and keep it as a teaching moment,
Yeah, that's a good one. So let's say a parent did have those classic movies and they show their kid now the unfiltered version, then like you said, they can use that as a teachable moment. That's a good one.
Some people don't necessarily like the culture aspect of Princess and the Frog, because it kind of gives a dark connotation of voodoo and what that actually is. If you do research on it, it's different, and it's more of a spiritual practice and herbal practice than dark black magic. It's a lot to get into, but that is kind of stereotyping. But if your daughter loves that, like my goddaughter loves Princess and the Frog, but if she were to grow older and ask questions or get intrigued about it, that's a lesson for us to both do. That I'm not going to cancel it. The soundtrack too good for that, That's just me.
I mean, but yeah, I get what you're saying. That would definitely be a teachable moment for the parent to actually, explain to their child the whole aspect of it, rather than just completely saying, "Oh no, you ain't watching that no more," or so forth and so forth. Then that will give the child an understanding of what racist imagery is in the beginning, and then also the aspects of why the whole thing was issue in the first place.
Even his brother, in Lion King, his brother, Mufasa's brother, kill him. Scar. That's crazy. I will tell my child, don't you do that. It's a learning moment in a classic movie. They are going to watch Lion King and they're going to love it.
It definitely is. A lot of stuff, I feel like a lot of stuff that's being canceled doesn't necessarily have to be canceled. It can be a teachable moment for the culture or people that is canceling whatever it is. So talking about that, let's go into the whole Dr. Seuss books. Because a lot of people canceled Dr. Seuss because realizing that Dr. Seuss, the harmful stereotypes depict in some of his books. And it wasn't like all the Dr. Seuss books. It was a specific series of books. I can't pinpoint exactly which ones it was, but it wasn't like all of them. It was like 5 or 6 books that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but they took them off the shelves and they supposedly not selling no more. So is that, and then because of that, everybody canceling Dr. Seuss as a whole and not just those particular books. So do you think that they should just let them books go and still let their children experience Dr. Seuss nonsense words and all that other rhyming and stuff in the books? Or do you think that they should just cancel them all together and don't even have no Dr. Seuss books in their house? Because I got Dr. Seuss books in my house still, so.
I think a lot of people don't even know what they're mad at too. With cancel culture, people ride waves that they don't even know what it's about. They supposed to be in the Atlantic and they in the Pacific. They don't know what's going on. So if you're going to, at least for myself, if I'm going to cancel someone, I'm going to know what they did and why I think it's wrong. It's going to be my morals and my beliefs. Mm-hmm. Now, I haven't canceled Dr. Seuss because I don't even know which books you're talking about. I don't know what the books are about. So I have no reason to cancel right now. But if I were to have a child and I'm reading this book and I'm like, I don't want them to learn this. Again, that could either be a teachable moment or we can donate the book somewhere else. That's just how I look at it.
Okay. But it was, I don't know exactly what books either, but they were saying that some books, they had stereotypes, harmful stereotypes depicted in a series of the books. I can't remember exactly which ones.
2 things. I think every year you're still going to see someone dressed up as thing 1, thing 2. That's never going to go away. And the second thing, no. I really just, sometimes people have to look from a different perspective, because that's always the problem. And then think about yourself. Do you stereotype other people often? Do you stereotype your own community? I told someone the other day that my favorite food was fried chicken. He said, It was another black man like, He said, typical, like it's stereotyping each other. So don't, especially if it's not with that intention, kind of brighten up and think, do you do this on your day-to-day life as well? Because no one on this earth is perfect, but it seems like everyone always has something to say.
Right, that is true. Now, as when we decided to do this topic and talk about this topic, I was doing research and I saw a whole lot of examples of cancel culture, who was canceled, why they were canceled, and we're going to get into the whole canceling of
Family and Friends?
No, Destiny's Child song.
Cater to
You. But hold on, not yet. We're going to get into that part. But let me read this real quick. Over the last few years, the social media trend has gained momentum under the trendy new name of placing celebrities, companies, and media alike under a microscope of political correctness. So, saying that to say, when people cancel celebrities or companies and songs and that matter, because remember, people canceled Gucci. When people had stopped buying Gucci and they like, oh, I ain't buying that. And even H&M was canceled because of the ad with the little boy and all that stuff. But now people shop at H&M. People pay thousands of dollars for Gucci, but what happened to them being canceled? Is it because of they did something wrong, or they weren't politically correct in their delivery of their products, or whatever the case may be? But why? My question is, why cancel something for 1 year or 6 months and then turn around and you back buying that product or supporting that company or whatever the case may be? That's what I don't understand. And that's why I feel as though cancel culture is just, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. Yeah. I mean, because all you're doing is pretty much not spending your money on them or not supporting them for 2 or 3 months, and then when everybody else get back on the bandwagon of buying and stuff, then you jump on that wagon and do the same thing. So what was the point? What are your thoughts on that?
Like I said earlier, I think people bandwagon.
That is true.
I think it's so many problems with people bandwagoning and they don't even know what they're mad about. If they know that someone else is mad on Instagram, they're going to repost it and be like, man,
I'm mad because they mad.
Right. It's never, half the people, you can't even hold a genuine conversation with these people like, oh, so what happened in this allegation and why are you upset? They be like, man, I don't know. I saw it on the shade room.
Right.
Reading the comments, getting extra hot, don't even know what's going on. You know?
And then that's with the whole canceling of the yeah. So I only reason I said that is because I know how you are with Beyonce and Destiny's Child. So what are your thoughts on that song, that particular song? And then you know what's crazy? They didn't cancel the whole Destiny's Child or Beyonce. It was just that particular song. So what do you think on that? Because I mean, even if you don't listen to that song, you're still supporting them with every other song and
you're still supporting that album.
Exactly. So it's like, what's the point of doing that if you still supporting them? Or so what are your thoughts on that particular cancellation?
My personal opinion, if you're canceling Cater to You the song, you're dragging it. If you don't know what that means, you're doing too much, because there's no way. First of all, everybody likes to put on this facade on social media. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Knowing daggone well when you close the app, you are catering to somebody at home. And sometimes it don't even need to be the person that you're catering to. So if we take a look in the mirror, we just need to take a reality check. There's no reason I'm canceling that song. And that's on Queen Bee.
Oh, goodness. I mean, well, my opinion, like I said earlier, like, what's the point of that one song where you're still supporting the whole CD, you're still supporting that album, you're still supporting them in general, just because it's not like you canceled the artist. Like, canceling a song, what does that do?
Nothing.
It does absolutely nothing. Like, that's not the only song on the album. So it's like, what is the point? I mean, I know some people might feel like, oh, I'm not catering to no man, I ain't running this bath water and so forth and so forth. But those people that are saying that are probably the people that are single. And I mean, I'm single, but I ain't saying all that, because you never know. eventually down the line, I might need somebody that I don't mind catering to. But see, that's the thing. It gotta be something. Yeah, it's something better. But that gotta be something that you want to do personally. And then what you do with your man behind closed doors should not be broadcast on social media or out in the open anyway. So if you choose to do that, then you do that in your home. What stays in your home stays in your home, and nobody even have to know what you're doing. So it's like, what was the point? Like, why? I don't know.
I think they'd have better luck if it wasn't Destiny's Child. Maybe if it was a newer, upcoming artist.
I wouldn't even say that per se. I'm just saying, like, the song in general. No matter if it was Aaliyah or whoever else. Like, it doesn't, to me, the artist or it doesn't matter. So I'm just like, yeah, I don't get that part.
Yeah, I agree. So to kind of reel in cancel culture, outside of celebrities, outside of fame, do you cancel personal encounters? Do you cancel family? Do you cancel friends? And if so, I guess, like, what's the triggering point? Where do you draw the line?
Excuse me personally, like I said, I wouldn't call it out there, oh, you're canceled, don't talk to me, I don't want nothing to do with you, I'm like living my life, you over here, you live over there. I wouldn't even go that much. If it's somebody that I don't want to talk to no more, I'm just not going to talk to them. I guess that would be considered canceling them, but I'm not going to put it out there, oh, you're canceled. I'm just not going to talk to them. I'm going to cut all ties. If it's something that you did that was just dirty and I don't agree with it, that's your life, what you choose to do. If it doesn't bother me or hurt me in any way, then I'm just gonna live my life over here and let you live your life over there. So like I said, I wouldn't just go and be like on social media, oh, I'm canceling my sister because she did this, or I ain't talking to my friend because they said this, or they hanging with this person or that person. And then a lot of stuff, like I said earlier, shouldn't be broadcast on social media anyway. So it's like, in my opinion, you do you, I'm gonna do me, and we go our separate ways.
For my opinion, I don't broadcast on social media when I'm quote unquote canceling somebody, but I have no problem cutting somebody off. As when you do something that hurts someone near and dear to my heart, I can handle a lot of things when it comes to me. But if I'm seeing that, like, a family member or a friend is hurt, I have no problem. There's no boundaries when it comes to cutting someone off from me. Like, I got family who are a part of the LGBTQ community, and then I have family that are homophobic. And I don't talk to the homophobic family members because, you're hurting someone else that I love just because you don't resonate and agree with their lifestyle, and that's ignorance to me. So that's where I draw the line. Respectful, stay away. But how you doing? But that's it. Just gotta be quick conversations. That's just what I do.
Okay, so this conversation is getting really good, but we only got a few more minutes left. So it's two more points that I wanted to bring up. And let's talk about how what you post on social media can cause a company, like a future job or something. What you post can technically hurt you in the long run based on different jobs or like companies that you want to work for in the future. So what are your thoughts on that? Because let me say mine. So I'm sorry, but real quick. So I feel like what you post on social media can definitely affect your future job, because let's say you apply for a job with the government or like a high-end Fortune 500 company. What you post, not even necessarily what you post, but you as an individual, you want to work for this company. So you working for this company, you become a representation of that company. So you need to represent that company in a a good way, I would say. So that company is going to look at your past and see what you have posted, see how you live your life. Even though it's personal, your personal should be separated from business. That is correct. But at the same time, let's say you out somewhere and you got a t-shirt on or something representing that company, and you out here getting drunk, acting crazy. That company is going to get the backlash because, oh, this employee at such and such and such and such. And then obviously that's when the company gets involved, and that puts a negative aspect on the company and not necessarily just the person, because obviously you representing that particular company. So yeah, businesses will, I don't want to say cancel, but businesses will not hire you because of stuff that you post.
I think that what you post on social media can impact, I guess, what do you call it, your professional footprint or something?
Yeah, you can say that.
But I think that sometimes, yes, you are always supposed to be professional, held to your highest and best self, but there's no problem in having fun. I guess it depends on what business, but even here, I don't act crazy to myself out in public. You know, I like to have my fun and I let everybody know, but I'm never doing the most something, especially not on social media, that can actually harm me. Like, some things are quite clear. If you're 17, 16, trying to build your brand, and you're also drinking on social media, letting people see you pop bottles and drinking out of them, it's kind of like, girl, why are you doing that? That's
right.
You're underage drinking, one. And two, anybody can see you. You're public. Like, that's not the smartest decision. But as an adult, that drinking factor won't be a problem. But some people, let's say, take pictures and post them with their middle fingers up. Some people won't go for that as their brand. It's different if you're an entrepreneur. You make your own rules. But I don't know. There's a line.
Let me say this. So you're saying, like, let's say if you are an entrepreneur, of course you make your own rules, you have your own business, your own company, but you are representing yourself in that aspect. So would you want somebody to look at you like, oh, all she do is put up her middle finger in pictures? I don't want to support that. Or let's say, she's out here drinking and partying and getting drunk every weekend. I don't want to support that. I'm not going to support your business if that's all you're going to do with your money.
See, that's not going to steer me away. Because at the end of the day, you know how people beg for money on the end of the street and people be like, oh, he's a junkie. I'm going to give you money because I know that I have extra and you are yearning for some.
Mm-hmm.
But what you do with that money has nothing to do with me. It's not my business. My name been and I ain't in it. But
that's true.
As far as what people do in their personal lives and to have fun, as long as it's not hurting someone else, I think that you should be able to live your life. Like, I'm not too conservative, so I get both aspects. I'm not saying you're conservative, but I think some business aspects are more of a conservative outlook.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, you live your life. I'm going to still buy your products, especially if it's good.
But you got to think about it from in a higher perspective, I would say, is because companies, or I'm not even going to say companies because you're your own company,
right?
But people won't take you serious in the aspects. Like, if you out here doing this or doing that, you out here partying every weekend, how could somebody take you serious and you doing this crazy stuff all the time? And I mean, not necessarily out here killing or hurting anybody, but that is, to me, for me personally, I think that's a bad representation of your brand. If that's not who you are, then don't portray yourself to be that way, even in your personal life. I mean, you can still have a life, go out here, have fun, and so forth and so forth. But when it gets to the point where you posting yourself partying and twerking and drinking every weekend, then who's going to take that serious?
See, I don't know. See, me, I'm still on the counter argument because You might do that weekend lifestyle, have your fun. That could still be your 9-to-5 personality, but there's a time and place for everything, I guess.
Right.
You're not going to go in the office and, throw down, because it's not what it's called for. You get 2 days to have your fun and really be free. So it doesn't bother me personally, because if you're doing good with your brand, if you are still enjoying your life, I think life and society puts this pressure on so many people to live and look a certain way.
Right.
Like one way's right and one way's wrong, and just because it's different and out of the norm and probably kind of not necessarily youthful, but I think it's, as long as it works for you, get to your bag and get your work done, that's good.
Okay, I get it. So, all right, one last thing, and then we're going to wrap up. So, as I was doing research on this topic, I came across a lot of different articles, and they were talking about canceling cancel culture. So, do you think that cancel culture should be canceled?
No. No.
Why?
I don't think that cancel culture should be canceled, because some people are held accountable and it promotes intellectual curiosity. Some things I wouldn't know could offend someone else, but just because the topic is brought up, it helps me learn and do my research and grow as a person. Yes, some people might be sensitive, but at the end of the day, the goal isn't to offend anyone. It's just to grow. Yeah, you see that there's pros and cons to it, people be canceled for a week. So cry your tears, baby, come back. That's just how I look at it.
No, me personally, I
throw the whole thing away.
I would say, if cancel culture is canceled, then it's just canceled. I mean, I'm not gonna be upset oh no, they taking away cancel culture, so I can't cancel this person or that person because of something they did or something they said. But at the same time, it's you're not gonna listen to that person no more, then just don't listen to them.
Right.
If you're not gonna buy that company's product no more, then just don't buy it. I mean, I'm sure the little bit of money that you probably spend is not going to hurt them at all. So it's just if you don't want no parts of it, then don't do it. Me personally, I'm not no material expensive type person. So for people to cancel Louis Vuitton and Gucci and all of them, I've never really that's not a thing of mine anyway. So it's if y'all want to cancel that, then that's on y'all. That's what y'all gonna do. They wouldn't get my money from the beginning because that's not my style. So it's if you cancel it, then cool. If not, then by all means, y'all can continue canceling companies, products, celebrities, or whoever. Hey, it doesn't bother me not one bit, because for me, I'm it is what it is. So you choose to cancel it, then that's on you.
Right. I get your point. I just don't think cancel culture is gonna go away. Yeah. Especially the more and more society is into social media. It's just, and the more and more we learn more things that we have toxic just from traditions and year long. It's more and more people are aware that time is just changing.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's the accountability aspect.
Changing.
Yeah. But I'm glad we had this conversation.
So that was definitely a great conversation. But speaking about canceling, I know someone that I will never cancel because he's never canceled on me, and that's the Lord Jesus Christ. So if you are out there and do not have a relationship with God, then I suggest that you take this time to get to know him. Go to your local church or somewhere, or you might know somebody that is in the church, and just build that relationship with God, and you won't ever have to worry about somebody canceling you, because the Lord Jesus Christ will come through for you and never cancel you on anything. No matter what you say, what you do, how you act, the Lord will always be on your side, because I know he's always on mine. So just build a relationship with God, and you won't have to worry about the cancel culture, because he will never cancel you.
Right. And thanks be to God that we have this show, that we have this platform, that we have you all as viewers. And please continue to come back. We want you all to feel comfortable enough to join this conversation, like, share, always come back every fourth Monday to view the Young and the Bold segment at 12 o'clock noon. You can see it on Facebook Live and our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you all.
Thank you for joining. Have a nice day.
See you.